Okay, let's just go into an update on some of the things about the weight loss journey. One thing that I felt is key when it comes to my doctor and things that she did getting me started on this journey. She didn't go to the pin jab. That's the assumption that everybody thinks when they hear that you're on Manjaro. They're like, oh, the first thing you did was get on Manjaro. That is not what has happened, especially in my case. My doctor very brilliantly made sure that I went to see a dietitian first. So April of 2024, I went to see a dietitian. With the dietitian, we learned what I eat, how I eat, and the things that, I'm allowed to, and what macros numbers that she had decided that I would stay in. And it seemed extreme when I first started. I remember coming from the dietitian crying, not because I love food so much, but because I felt like that's a lot of pressure. Just make sure that I'm monitoring on the level that she had taught me how I would have to monitor. So I began the journey. And I stayed since April 2024. It is now June 30th, 2025. And I have been in this calorie deficit for that long. I stayed within the macros. I think 1 or 2 days is reported in my Carb Manager app where I've gone beyond the macros. I stay with it. I stick with it because I understood not just the changes that were happening to my body, but just understood how I was going to feel better and it was going to get the type 2 diabetes under control. That was the main thing, to get that A1C under control, to bring that blood sugar number down, to get all that was making me feel really bad together, right? So learning how to do that, that was the first journey. So from April all the way through August, it was just a calorie deficit exercising. I went too far with the exercise in the beginning and did really heavy workouts in the first 3 months. That was a lot of stress on my body. I was still heavier at that time. So it was just doing a way too much too soon. Then I kind of pulled back from that, started doing a lot more of the exercise snacking with the strength training on the daily, making sure that I'm counting the steps and making sure I have more than 3,000 steps a day. That was, critical, that all my days are 3,000 or more steps a day, right? You want to have 10,000, 11,000 steps 3 times a day, but I mean, 3 times a week, but sometimes you'll have 7,000 days, you'll have 5,000 days, but you don't ever want to have 3,000, 4,000, really 2,000. You don't want to keep a habit of having really low days all the time. So that was that learning curve, that learning journey, right? And then August, that's when Monjaro, the GLP-1, was introduced. The GLP-1 was a game changer. The first month, it was like, oh, this weight came off because it made a significant difference on the number on the scale, right? However, that was just probably a whole bunch of the water weight. It wasn't going to be that fast. As fast as I thought that number came down, I thought it was going to be like that every month. It's not like that. So August 2024, yes, it was that first month of a lot, 2.5 milligrams, a lot of weight came off, but then it started leveling to the slow journey that it is now. And around October, November, now I'm just like, this is the journey that it's on, and this is the 1 to 3 pounds a week off. This is what it does. And it started really just training my body. Like, this is what we do. You're in a calorie deficit now. You also now have a GLP-1, and then you're learning what your body needs. This is when I tap into scheduling my therapy, which I now do bi-weekly, going back to my therapist and making sure that I understood that, yes, I've been small my whole life. Yes, I was small in my 20s, but when I gained weight, what happened? Right? So that's when I learned from my therapist, okay, you had the grief, you went through the grief therapy, but you also have to go through the trauma therapy. You also have to go to the support therapy. And this understanding all these things that were not done in the beginning with the therapy. And that's why the continued weight gain happened, because that part of who I am wasn't under control. So it wasn't, because everybody goes all the time, people that know me, you don't eat a lot. So how did you gain weight? Stress, cortisol, stress, the body, inner stress. Like, stress can cause weight gain, right? So understanding and learning all of those things, but the most important part of it, the calorie deficit. Like, this stuff doesn't come off without the calorie deficit, right? So I was able to bring my midsection in. I'm pretty sure that's crystal clear for everyone that's seeing the body change on me. So yeah, that was able to bring the midsection in, able to get the arms to, kind of do their thing, making sure that I'm lifting weights and learning all about the weightlifting that's for me, the strength training that is for me. And there's just a host of a lot of it, but you have to learn what's wrong, what's causing you to eat. You need a dietitian, you need a therapist, you need your doctor, you need your blood labs. You need to understand it all before you just jump on the pin, because that's not how my doctor did it. And she also has it at a very low dose, right? August 2024, I was at 2.5 milligrams. Well, guess what dose I'm at right now? It is June 2025. Guess what dose I'm at? I've taken off 55 pounds. I think it's a little bit more than that, but we'll just stick with 55 pounds, right? And I'm only at 5 milligrams. She doesn't play. She's not about to have that whole, what they call Ozempic face going on. She doesn't want to see that. She doesn't want to see excess skin, coming all around like that. So she's trying to make sure that everything is coming off and getting me back and bringing everything back in the right way. So it's not a fast journey. For me, it's likely to be a 2-year journey to get off the whole 100 total that I want, right? So I'm at the 55. I still have a journey to go ahead, right? Learning the relationship with food, learning to eat in a calorie deficit, learning to move every day, the movement that's needed every day, learning the foods that are for me, learning to keep those carbs low and to keep a lot of fruit in, a lot of water in, intake in, a lot of vegetables in, making the vegetables priority and making protein priority for me. Protein was a big journey for me because I can't have a lot of the animal based proteins that are out there. So I have to go plant based with protein shakes and things like that. So, what brand is for me, right? What brand can I take? Like, it was a lot to learn. That's why I tell people it's a 2-year journey. You didn't pack it all on fast. It came on over gradually over time. So that's why you have to continue to be patient with yourself, and then don't just go grabbing the pen first without learning, why do you eat this way, how, what's causing me to, why did I gain weight, what happened, was there some grief, was there some trauma? Like, knowing all those things, going to the professionals to learn all those things is so much more important than this jab in your stomach on a weekly basis, right? So hopefully that information helps. I feel like I ran through it really, really fast, but I didn't want to make this a long video. I just wanted to come back to give you guys the Manjaro update that you so absolutely deserve. All right, honey's looking at me crazy, so I'm going to go ahead and end the live.